Hello friends, in this video we will be learning about some other compute services that AWS offers. This is the agenda for this video. First, we will be talking about what is serverless computing. Then we will see an AWS service called AWS Lambda, which is used for serverless computing and how it works. Then we will see what is container and then some AWS services which uses containers. Amazon Elastic Container Service or ECS and Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service or EKS. Then we will see what is AWS Fargate. At last, we will have a quiz and also we will see answers to the previous quiz. If you have not watched the previous video, you can watch it by clicking the I button above. So let's start. First, let us talk about what is serverless computing. We have already learned about Amazon EC2, a service that lets you run virtual servers in the cloud. For running your applications in Amazon EC2, first you have to provision the instances or virtual servers. Then you have to upload your code, and then you have to continue to manage the instances while your application is running. When you are using EC2, you are responsible for patching your instances, setting up the scaling of those instances, as well as ensuring that you have created a highly available architecture. Now, you might be thinking that does AWS offers any service that is more convenient from a management perspective? This is where the term serverless comes in. Serverless means that you cannot actually see or access the underlying infrastructure or instances on which your application is hosted. In simple words, your code runs on servers, but you do not need to provision or manage these servers. All the management of the underlying environment from a provisioning, scaling, high availability, and maintenance perspective are taken care of for you. With serverless computing, you can focus more on innovating new products and features instead of maintaining servers. Another major benefit of serverless computing is flexibility to scale serverless applications automatically. It can adjust the application's capacity by modifying the units of consumption such as throughput and memory. The AWS service for serverless computing is AWS Lambda. Now let us understand about AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda is a service that lets you run code without needing to provision or manage servers. You have to upload your code in a Lambda function which runs only when the request comes in. While using AWS Lambda, you only pay for the compute time that you consume. You will be charged only when your code is running. With AWS Lambda, you can run code for virtually any type of application or backend service, all with zero administration. For example, suppose you have created a Lambda function which automatically compresses the files that are uploaded to the AWS cloud. In this case, the Lambda function is triggered when the file is uploaded, and you only pay for the compute time that you use when uploading the files. Now, let us understand how AWS Lambda works. The first step is to upload your code to the Lambda function. This code can be for any type of virtual application or backend service. Next step is to set your code to trigger from an event source. This event source can be AWS service, mobile application, or HTTP endpoint. After setting after setting up the trigger, all the things are managed by the Lambda itself. Lambda runs your code only when it is triggered, and you only pay for the time your code runs. AWS Lambda can also scale your functions to meet any capacity of demand. Now, if you want access to underlying infrastructure but still want efficiency and portability, you should look at AWS Container Services. Amazon Elastic Container Service or ECS and Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service or EKS are two AWS container services. Both of these are container orchestration tools and use Docker container. Docker is a widely used platform that uses operating system level virtualization to deliver software in containers. First, let us understand what is a container. Containers provide you with a standard way of packaging your applications code, and dependencies into a single object. You can also use containers for processes and workflows in which there are requirements for security, reliability, and scalability. Now, let us understand how containers work by a simple example. Suppose that a company's application developer has an environment on their computer which is different from the environment on the computers used by the IT staff. The developers want to ensure that application's environment remains consistent regardless of the deployment, so they use a containerized approach. This helps in reducing the time spent in debugging applications and finding differences in computing environment. When running a containerized application, it is important to consider scalability. Suppose that instead of single host with multiple containers, you have to manage tens of hosts with hundreds of containers, or hundreds of hosts with thousands of containers. Imagine how much time will it take for you to monitor memory usage, security, logging, and other things. At such a large scale, container orchestration services helps you to deploy, manage, and scale your containerized applications. Now, we will see the two container orchestration services, Amazon Elastic Container Service and Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service. First, let us learn about Amazon Elastic Container Service or ECS. Amazon Elastic Container Service or Amazon ECS is a highly scalable, high-performance container management system that enables you to run and scale containerized application on AWS. Amazon ECS supports Docker containers. Docker is a software platform that enables you to build, test, and deploy applications quickly. With Amazon ECS, you can use API calls to launch and stop Docker-enabled applications. Now, let us understand about Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service or EKS. Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service or Amazon EKS is a fully managed service that you can use to run Kubernetes on AWS. Kubernetes is an open source software that enables you to deploy and manage containerized applications at scale. As new features and functionalities release for Kubernetes applications, you can easily apply these updates to your application managed by Amazon EKS. Both Amazon ECS and Amazon EKS can run on top of EC2 instances. But if you don't want to use EC2 instances to host your containers because you either don't need access to underlying operating system or you don't want to manage EC2 instances, you can use a compute platform called AWS Fargate. Let us learn about AWS Fargate. AWS Fargate is a serverless compute engine for containers and it works with both Amazon ECS and Amazon EKS. When using AWS Fargate, you do not need to provision or manage servers. AWS Fargate itself manages the server infrastructure for you so that you can focus more on innovating and developing your applications. And also, you only pay for the resources that are required to run your containers. This all might seem confusing to you, so let's clear it up. If you want to host traditional applications and want full access to underlying operating system, EC2 is the best option. If you want to host short running functions, service oriented or event driven applications and you don't want to manage the underlying environment, you should go for serverless option, that is AWS Lambda. If you want to run Docker based workloads on AWS, you first need to choose your orchestration tool. Do you want to use Amazon ECS or Amazon EKS? After selecting your tool, you need to choose your platform, whether you want to use your containers on EC2 instances that you manage or in a serverless environment like AWS Fargate that is managed for you. So now I hope all the things are cleared up and now it's time for a quiz. Let us look at the questions. The first question is, your company wants to run an application without provisioning or managing the servers. Which AWS service will you use? The options are Amazon ECS, AWS Lambda, EC2 instance, and none of the above. Second question is, you want to deploy and manage containerized applications. Which service should you use? The options are AWS Fargate, AWS Lambda, Amazon EKS, and none of the above. Make sure to answer both the questions in the comment section below. Now, let us look at the answers for the quiz we had in previous video. If you have not watched the previous video, you can watch it by clicking the I button above. The first question was, which AWS service ensures that no single EC2 instance has to carry all the workload on its own? The first option was EC2 autoscaling. This is not the correct option as it automatically adds or removes Amazon EC2 instances in response to changing demand. It does not distribute the workload among EC2 instances. The next option was Elastic Load Balancer. This is the correct option as it automatically distributes incoming traffic across multiple EC2 instances. The next option was Amazon EC2 instance. This is not the correct option as we have to distribute traffic across EC2 instances as asked in question. So the correct option is option B. The next question was, which AWS service automatically removes the unneeded Amazon EC2 instances when the demand is low? We have already discussed these options in the previous question, so let's see the answer directly. The correct option is option C, that is EC2 autoscaling. We will learn more about cloud computing in upcoming videos. Please subscribe the channel for more such videos. Thank you.